I have so many new people, part of my keto family. Welcome. Welcome on this wild ride called keto. Keto can be super confusing. There's so much information out there. There's so many things that work for different people, and I just thought it would be really helpful just to share what I've done. That's probably the number one question I get. Did you really lose all that weight in almost a little over 7 months? It was 86 pounds. Did I really do it? Yes, I did. How did I do it? Well, this is why I'm filming the video. I want to tell you all about it. So, quick history on me. I started keto after a scary doctor's visit. I found out I was in the worst shape of my life, and I was ready to make some drastic changes. I had heard about keto before, and I thought I was doing it, but I was doing more like junky, gluten-free. So I had new vigor in my life, a new determination, and I didn't research in advance like so many people do. I literally dove in head first and learned along the way. I was very fortunate in what happened. I shared my story with my sister. Just my weight, which I was totally humiliated of because it was the heaviest of my life, and I knew I was significantly heavier than her. But I decided to just share that. And she said, congratulations, you are going to make a big change in your life. And she suggested, why don't you give keto a try again? You're a busy mom, you have a lot going on, you don't really have a lot of time to work out. It's kind of like the perfect thing to do. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. So the next call I made was to my mom, and I told her that I was doing keto. And she said, so funny, I started 3 days ago. She had started it before, and she was doing the macros game, didn't have a whole lot of success, and she said, you know what, I'm keeping it really simple. Check out Keto with Casey. She follows Dr. Westman's approach. Check out her YouTube video. So I did. Okay, side note, let me just say, you can reach out to all the people you want and get all kinds of information, but you're only getting their pieces of information. You need to take the advice that they give you and research yourself, so that you become an expert into what you're going to be doing. You can be spoon-fed it like a baby, but what are you really going to retain? How much of that is going to be actual nourishment for you? Very little. It's basically regurgitated food. Weird analogy, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, so you want to start keto. What do I recommend? Small steps. Small steps. It is overwhelming. Don't try to do it in one day. Take little steps and you're going to be more successful. So first off, what I did was I downloaded Dr. Westman's page 4. It's a document that tells you what you should eat, meaning keto compliant, what you should eat in moderation, and what you should avoid. Basically, it's flour, sugar, starchy vegetables, and fruits other than berries are pretty much off limits. Well, they're off limits. So spend 2 days and just eat only keto food. Memorize what is on that page. Save it on your phone, print it out on your refrigerator, have it with you wherever you go, and follow it to a T. Okay, so then on day 3, what do? This is time where you have a better idea of what you're supposed to be eating, what you're not supposed to be eating, what you're supposed to be eating in moderation. So for day 3, this is time to start tracking. I use MyFitnessPal. I pay for the premium. It's like $50, I think, for the year, or 40, something like that. It makes it easier, right? I want to make it as easy as possible. I'm super busy. I don't have a lot of time to add numbers and all this stuff. You totally could use the free MyFitnessPal version. It's going to take some more effort. So depending on how much effort you want to put into it, how frugal you need to be, you decide. But you could do free, or you could pay a little extra. Again, it's only one time a year. And what you need to do is you need to start tracking. You need to make sure that you keep your carbs under 20 grams total, not net. Again, people have success with net. I didn't do it. I wanted to keep it simple, and I wanted to ensure my success, okay? So in the beginning, you're going to be starving because your body is freaking out. Where is all the carbs? Where is the glucose? I need glucose. That is my fuel source. It's going to stink. But So at this point, eat whatever you need to eat, except keep your carbs under 20. So if you're still hungry, eat the fat, eat the protein, the fat. Do it. Don't worry about calories. You're going to eat a lot of calories. I think I was eating around 2,400 when I started tracking. I was eating 2,400 calories giggling. I mean, come on, this is where you can eat bacon and cheese and heavy cream and all these things that are wonderful and go to town. Do it. That's like the joy of this. But you do need to track like you're getting paid for it. Track like it's your job. The effort that you put into it is the effort you're going to get back. If you halfway do it, half-ass it, you're going to get those same results. You can get away with it in the beginning, but the further along you get into your journey, the tighter your game needs to be. Okay? So, and the other thing, keep it simple. You know, there's a million recipes and cookbooks and, you know, all these things. But at the end of the day, you still have to track that and put it into MyFitnessPal. Sometimes other people's keto does not match my version of keto. So you need to make sure, I kept it simple. You know, I didn't want to be slaving in the kitchen for hours on end, prepping and, you know, all these things. If your family's not doing it with you, then you're cooking separate meals. Keep it simple. For breakfast, I do eggs, spinach, bacon, eggs, spinach, sausage, heavy cream in my coffee with some collagen. It's simple. Dinner, chicken thighs, broccoli with butter on it. I mean, again, pick the foods that you like that are extravagant and wonderful, but you don't have to put a ton of effort into it. It doesn't need to be a Martha Stewart keto dinner every single night. Sure, for the holidays, yeah, that's totally, you know, what we do. But the everyday, day to day, I'm not going to stick to it. I need it simple, easy. I don't want to have to think about it. Number 4 thing that I would suggest, your carbs, they need to come from real food. They need to come from vegetables. I know that we want to like have this fantasy that, you know, I'm just eating, you know, gallons of heavy cream and, you know, eating only cheese. But at the end of the day, it's the vegetables. That's the nutrition that your body needs. In the beginning, again, you're going to be able to get away with a lot more because it's totally shifting. Your body is healing, you know, and by eliminating the carbs, that's already doing something. But at some point, you're going to level out, and you're going to need to have to, again, remember, tighten up your game. It doesn't have to be all at once, but little by little by little by little. If you see the scales not moving, that's when you need to tighten up your game. The other thing that I would suggest is once you're into ketosis, you're going to notice you're not as hungry. You're going to notice actually you're barely hungry. That is totally fine, and that is great. That is the magic of ketosis. Your body is now a fat burner. It's maybe not a very efficient fat burner, and with time it will become more efficient, but you're a fat burner. So what does that mean? That means you don't have to eat if you're not hungry. You know, the old days of, oh, you got to eat 3 meals a day, and you have to snack twice a day. Where did they get that number? Where did that even come from? If your body, what you want to do is you want to trust your body. If your body says, I'm hungry, eat. If your body says, I'm not hungry, don't eat. That is very hard to do, especially when I was a food addicted person and my whole life revolved around food and fantasies of what am I going to eat next and what am I, you know, what's next on the menu. But when I eventually realized I don't need to eat. And it, you know, yeah, sometimes my family's eating and I'm not. The other thing I want to talk about is sugar-free sweeteners. Okay, you can do it. It's allowed. But it's not something that you want to do every day, every week, you know, you have to use it within moderation. Because again, I mean, just think of this. This is like a real way of eating, right? And sure, desserts should happen from time to time. You have to live a little. But you can't cheat the system forever, you know? Again, you can get away with that in the beginning. And I think if you have the mindset of, I'm going to slowly need to taper off, you're not going to be addicted. Like, I personally avoid foods that got me fat to begin with. My triggers: chocolate, ice cream, desserts, bread, pasta. You know, so I don't try to make ketofied versions of that because I don't feel like I'm facing my food addictions. I feel that it's just replacing one thing for another. And again, everything is fine in moderation. But when I consume, you know, like keto or cut the carb wraps, they're great. They're wonderful. But for me, it takes me down that unhealthy, fiending crackhead route. And I'm avoiding that. I don't want to do that anymore. You know, so you have to decide what is right for you, what's not right for you. And I personally just can't do that because it just brings up unhealthy food addiction issues. The other thing that I would say is if you're going to do sugar-free, you know, go the more natural route. Look at like lower glycemic sweeteners if you have to, with the idea that you're going to taper it off. You know, I love stevia. Liquid stevia is my jam. Why? Because it's very low on the glycemic index. It's more natural. It's less processed than sweet and low. You know, if you have to go that route, go that route. Don't go, you know, the Diet Coke route. You know, it's just more processed, less natural. The other thing I would say is wait to exercise. You are going to be rocking your body. Your body is going to go through a huge change. There's tons of information to learn between tracking, knowing what's keto, all of these things, the physical changes. It's a lot. It's a lot. Don't use exercise yet. I intentionally did not exercise until I had lost 59 pounds because I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it food-wise, that it was possible, and it is. I've seen many people do that. I think you have to be careful with exercise. Not that exercise is bad. Obviously, it's a good thing for you, but I think we use it as a crutch. I think time and time again, I'll get, you know, comments from people, what are you doing exercise? I'm in a stall, blah, blah, blah. You know what? If you're in a stall, it has nothing to do with exercise. Focus on the food part of it. Focus on where you need to tighten up your food game. Do you need to cut back on your carbs? Do you need to cut back on your processed keto foods? You know, people love to use, say keto cookie, or what is it? No cookies, KNOW cookies. That has, you know, fiber, and they're like, oh yeah, it's only a few net carbs or whatever. But if you think about it, I mean, just like logically think about it. Okay, there's this cookie and they're adding processed fiber, right? It's like already been, you know, processed, broken down. Does that equal the same thing as a head of broccoli? I mean, does that seem like it would have the same nutritional value? Of course not. No, it doesn't. So don't try to cheat the system. You're only cheating yourself. You know, so when you're in a stall, when you're not losing weight, that's the time where I usually will ask people, are you tracking? No. Start tracking. 20 grams of carbs goes by in a blink of an eye. You know, are you eating only keto foods? Well, yes, except I'm having a few bites of this, this, and that. Okay, those few bites, that's what's like, that's your stall. You don't need to exercise. You just need to cut those out of your life. You know? Like, what are the other ones that I get? Are you drinking enough water? You know, this process, you have to drink a ton of water. A ton. You know, are you eating your vegetables? Are you getting your carbs from vegetables? Kind of. You're not. You know? So don't use exercise because when I was working out, so I was vegan for a while. when I was vegan, I started relaxing and eating the junky vegan food. And I would use working out to kind of cheat the system so that I could, kind of eat the junky food that I shouldn't be eating. And it got so bad to the point that I was having to run 100 miles a month to keep up with my mouth. Well, that's not sustainable. And, fell off, I was derailed. And on came the weight and, back to begin with. So don't use exercise as a method to, live a little. Do the work. It's possible. And it doesn't even mean that, like, you're punishing yourself. You need to view this lifestyle 80%, actually any lifestyle for that matter, 80% diet, 20% exercise. The exercise is the fine-tuning, very fine-tuning. If you're not losing weight, evaluate your eating, evaluate your food, evaluate what you're putting in your body, and for that little rest, use exercise. And it doesn't have to be crazy, I'm working out for 3 hours a day. I work out less than an hour, sometimes 30 minutes, 5 times a week. It's very sustainable, it's very doable, it's very simple, and it's very free. When you first start ketosis, people will lose a lot of weight. What is the reason for that? The reason for that is your body is getting rid of all the water it's retaining. It's getting rid of all the salt it's been holding on to. So as that is flushing your system, which is good, that's a good thing. You don't want to be retaining all of that. People will feel adverse side effects, lightheaded, nauseous. I experienced dizziness, like I felt like I was going to pass out. All you need to do, get salt in your life. That's it. It's so simple. It's so simple. There's no need to have to go through that and suffer. Just drink some bouillon. Have some, 1 cup they have like these little containers of chicken stock. Take it with you to work. Have it in your purse, your MERS, whatever, you use. And it's that simple. It's super easy. There's no need to suffer through it. I love to chop up some scallions, some cilantro, and it's like really, really wonderful. The other thing that you need to be on top of is your magnesium. I like, it's called Calm. It's a powdered magnesium. You add it to 2 ounces of warm water. It comes in different flavors. It actually tastes like reasonably good. I like raspberry, lemon, I think is my favorite. And you work your way up to it. Otherwise, your digestive tract is going to be not in good shape. Magnesium poop is not good. It's very loose stool, and you don't want that. So you want to ease yourself into it. And it's best if you take it in the morning, at night, separate it. You want to get a total of 2 teaspoons in eventually. You work up to that. And it's simple. Potassium, you need it. And it's easily consumed through your food sources. You don't need to take potassium vitamins. It's actually, you can OD on it, and there's some major adverse side effects to that, so you just be aware of it. All you need to do, consume some spinach, consume some broccoli, have some salmon, have some bacon, chicken breast has potassium in it, broccoli, and there you go. And be patient with the process. It's so hard to see others losing weight. I lost very quickly. Just focus on your own game. The beginning is the hardest, but once you start gaining momentum, suddenly, because I totally felt this, I'm like, I feel so slow, no one's noticing. I mean, you want everyone to notice. And it takes a while, but it's hella the California in me. It's super faster than any other diet out there. So, I'm only losing 2 pounds a week. That's a ton of weight. So, be patient with the process. Take a ton of pictures. Take your measurements in the beginning. Please, I didn't do it, and I so regret it to this day. I'm like scouring, begging people for ugly pictures of me. So you want to do that. And it's a wild ride. It's super fun. Use Instagram as a tool, to connect with other people, to learn from other people. It's a big happy family. So welcome to the family. Welcome to the journey. Wishing you utter success.